Hey everybody, there is nobody because I'm live and no one knew I was going live. So this is really the main purpose of this video is to do a really quick haul video because if you have not been watching my Instagram page, this weekend I am kind of on vacation or a work trip for my secondary work. I am actually in Paducah, Kentucky with Fatbird Finds, the Antique Nomad, Real Nifty Vintage, and Thrifter Junker Vintage Hunter. Got her name right. And we're all here for the weekend. Hey Laura. Hey Rachel. Yep, I am very lucky. This was such a fun trip to be able to be a part of. Hey Tim. So the trip kind of came together kind of by happenstance. George had mentioned in one of his videos that he does this for a living, but primarily what he does is kind of estate sales or estate valuations. He's got his certification for valuations, and he had just mentioned he was going to be doing his first estate sale since COVID. So it was going to be this huge, hey Gene, it was going to be this huge event because it was the first one he'd been able to do for months. And so it kind of started out where I just asked him a question saying, hey, where do you do it? Hey, Esmeralda, where do you do these? And so he's in Kentucky, about an hour from Paducah, which is where Fatbird Finds is based. So initially I talked to George, said, hey, think I'm going to come down there. Talked to Fatbird Finds saying, hey, do you want to join me? You're only an hour away. And then somewhere along the line, it turned out that Misty, she's in Indiana, and I didn't really know exactly how far away she was, but she was only like 2.5 hours maybe from where George was. And then Barb and Jeffrey from Real Nifty Vintage, we invited them. Barb couldn't come because her son had a baseball game in Missouri. Hi, Rachel. Hi, Karen. Hey, Laura again. I'm just making sure I'm not missing anybody. So Barb couldn't come, but all of a sudden Jeffrey decided to come. So it just became this weird little, conglomeration of YouTubers. There were no invitations sent out. There was no vast planning. This is one of those cases, if you watch everyone else's videos, you can pick stuff up. And it all started because George mentioned he was going to be doing this great big sale. And he did an amazing sale. Hey, Karen. Wow, it's early for Karen. You're in San Francisco. And hey, Julie from AJ's Retro and Vintage. So if you watch the videos, anyone could have invited themselves. That's technically what I did. I mean, it was an estate sale. So anyway, it turned out great, but I've turned it into what's actually going to become a 4-day weekend for me. So I drove down because I had to drive. It's about a 6-hour drive for me to Paducah, and then it was another hour onto George. So I did the drive down on Friday. And one of the things that I did on my way down is I stopped at some of the places that I like to, that I've been to before for sourcing. And so I'm going to go ahead and do a really quick live haul. I've never done a live haul video, but I didn't bring my phone mount to be able to record an actual video off my phone, which is how I normally do it. And so the only way I could figure out how to do a quick haul video was to just go live, and then it'll just be recorded and it'll be out there. So this is just for the stops that I made in Paxton, Illinois on Friday on my way down. I did do the sale yesterday was with George. It was an amazing experience. We had so much fun, and he was not kidding. I don't know what his sales are normally like, but it was one of those, you could barely turn around without knocking over a stack of porcelain. So there was so much to pick from. All of us were in there picking. He'd stuff outside for us to be picking, so we weren't, too close to each other. And I found way more than I thought I would. I really didn't specifically have a budget, but I went over a budget. But I had already started going over budget by stopping in Paxton on the way. So I'm just going to do a couple really quick things. And because I've got Tim, I am going to start actually at a garage sale that I went to, because the only reason I have this, the only reason is because of Tim from over the years. If you do not follow Tim, first of all, Tim will be on my deep dive tonight. He will be talking about uranium glass. So for anyone who's interested in uranium glass or just want to have a good time, Tim is a hilarious character. I think we're going to have a blast on the show tonight. But he did a video probably 2-3 weeks ago, maybe now, with another channel, and I apologize, Chernaz, something like that, where he just talked about hats. I bought a freaking hat, Tim. Why am I buying hats? You're in my head. This is not a good thing. And I probably bought a bad hat, but I was at a garage sale. They had a bunch of hats. I didn't know what I was looking for. I should have paid more attention to that video, but I have a hat. And so it's a Texas A&M hat. I thought it looked in really good shape. It had the little thing. I'm sure there's a term for that. I'm going to have to look that up before I list it. So it has that still on it. It's in good condition. It has the fabric back that has the Aggies on it. So I thought that was a good sign. And then it is plastered across the middle of it. Top of the world is stitched into the top. So I am sure there are certain brands that are good. There are certain brands that are bad. It's unfortunately made in China, so that probably kills it right there. But I got this and what I think now is a scarf clip. Admittedly, when I first picked it up, I thought it was a pin. And then when I took it off the paper, I realized it's got this like prongy thing. And so then I'm thinking, oh, it's not a pin. Well, maybe it's a barrette. But I don't know how any woman would figure out how to get that into her hair without completely ripping her hair out. So I'm guessing scarf clip, but I am totally open to suggestions if anybody has seen these before. Anyway, so I got this and the hat for $1. So I figured I'm not out anything, even if this ends up being a pile of crap. But I am starting to list some things on my eBay store. I haven't even started promoting the eBay store yet. So, okay, so Julie is saying is a hair barrette. So I wasn't too far off. Is that an older style, Julie, with that kind of clippy thing? I mean, I've seen barrettes before that are much bigger than that. It just seemed like these two loose prongs. I don't know. Barrette, I wore many like that, according to Teresa. Hi, Teresa. So, okay, so it's a barrette. So, I mean, I'll sell it. And I like the design to it. And to be perfectly honest, the only reason I picked that up was because I was buying this. It was marked for $1. It's a garage sale. So I'm like, well, I'm not paying $1, but I also didn't have any change on me. So I wanted to find something else to add so I could get the bundle deal for $1. So they were only asking 25 cents for this. It was run by a group of teenage girls who kept giggling while I was there, which, really gives a middle-aged guy confidence. So anyway, so it was 2 items, bundle for $1. I figured this, I'll probably put this in a live sale. I would get a few bucks for that. And then according to Tim, who is the master knowledge of pretty much everything, I think he's going to take George to school on some things. So because Tim knows value of hats, he's saying 10 to 15 bucks, which when I went on to eBay, 10 bucks was about what I was finding after I bought it. But then he also does Fenton and he does Flow Blue, and he'll be doing my deep dive tonight on uranium glass. So Tim is the master. He's the Renaissance man. So definitely follow Tim. His shows are a lot of fun. My daughter, no offense to all the other YouTubers out there, they're my daughter's favorite. She particularly loves Josie, and we all both love Ma Dukes. So it's a great channel. He puts out a ton of content, and he's everywhere. I think Tim, you sell on like 5 or 6 different platforms. You sell on platforms I've never even heard of. I still don't know what Depop or Debop or whatever it was. There's one I don't even know. But you introduced me to Grailed. I haven't been able to afford anything on Grailed yet, but I now know about Grailed. Tim's everywhere. Check him out. But he'll also be on my channel tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. I'll be recording from the hotel because I won't be home yet. But that'll be Tim tonight on my deep dive on uranium glass. Okay, so that was the garage sale. I did go to another garage sale in Paxton, but they didn't have really anything I was looking for. They did actually have one cool thing, and I forgot to look it up. I almost forgot. I've seen them before. There are these, and some of the people on here might know what I'm talking about. Oh, Fatbird Finds, I'm in your hometown. You should come over. They're the little aluminum disc, little aluminum bowls that then a glass bowl set into. So the glass was, I want to say the glass was green, and then the aluminum were all different colors. And so I think it's probably something from maybe the 60s or 70s. I don't think they're like super, super old. The only reason they only wanted $5 for the set of 12. And it's one of the cases, I probably should have just bought it anyway. But what bothered me about it, and this is what I'm wondering if you guys know, the way the glass set into the aluminum, it literally just sat there. So if you went to pick up the dish, you would actually lift the glass out of the platform, and the glass itself cannot sit by itself because it's tapered and then had this little plug that goes into the bottom that went into a hole within the aluminum dish. So it was all mixed up in this box. And so I asked, without knowing anything else, I just asked, I said, hey, do you have the little stopper that holds these together? They had no idea what I was talking about. Like, no, it never came with them. Like, so you literally just set the glass loose in the aluminum? Yeah, I don't want these. So did I make a mistake? Should they have had, I'm still thinking there should have been a locking mechanism that would somehow hold them together that you could undo so you could wash them, but that when they're together, I can't imagine you would just have this glass bowl resting in an aluminum dish. Anyway, so that was the garage sale. I didn't pick anything up there. But then I went to Mina's Mercantile. Anything with the word mercantile in it, I will support, because people do not know that word, and we are going to educate the world. So Mina's Mercantile is in downtown Paxton. I had no idea what to expect. It literally was, when I was Googling antique stores, I saw like 5 of them in Paxton. So I'm like, okay, that's a nice breaking point on my way down. So one of the items I got was this 2-piece elegant glass creamer and sugar. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be an open sugar because of the fretwork on the top, the reticulated rim. They're in absolutely perfect condition. And what I actually liked about them, and I don't have any of my stuff around here, so I don't know if you're gonna be able to see this. What I actually liked about them is, you can kind of see it sort of there. It's got the etched floral design in it. And it reminded me, without pulling out my phone to Google it, it reminded me of the design that Katie from Vintage and Vinyl has on her grandmother's set that she's trying to identify. So it was just one of the cases. I think I've seen these flowers before. I don't think it's particularly unique. I just think that's a style. But I'm not even 100% sure what era we are in on these. I would have said 50s based on the etching, but I remember one time I looked at that etching and it was far older. So, oh, hey, Katie's on here. So I don't know if that matches your grandmother's bowls that you would post it on your Instagram page or not, but they're absolutely lovely. I paid $1 for the pair. So again, these will probably just end up in a live sale because I wouldn't know how to list them on Etsy for them to ever be found in an SEO. So, but they're in absolutely perfect condition. There's no chips, no cracks, which we all know that is a requirement of mine. What I also liked about them is there's no pontil or anything. So these were pressed, but I don't feel the mold mark. So at some point when they were made higher quality, because the bowl and the rim, you can kind of feel it, but you can't, actually you can see it a little bit, but they did a pretty good job polishing these down. They are not really serious, but I knew it was molded because on the inside of the handle, that's a pretty solid mold mark. So these were probably middle range. The really cheap stuff never got ground down. So you just see really serious mold seam lines. This seems like middle line. Really high end stuff really would have polished all that down. So this is kind of middle of the road. Again, I paid $1, so couldn't really go wrong with those. Another piece of glass that I got, I'm still learning. So this is one of those cases that in some kinds I need cheat sheets, and I always risk that it could be wrong. But this particular piece of glass actually still has the label on it. See if I can get it without the glare here. It's Pilgrim glass, and it's Pilgrim Cranberry glass. So I just love the glass itself, and it's entirely possible, because I paid $1.50 for it, it's entirely possible I would have bought it anyway. But the fact that I could actually do some research on it and figure out what this is, I did do some research. So on the Pilgrim glass, there's all kinds of these that have been selling this year. They pretty much sell in the $10 to $20 range, and I have not found this particular baluster form yet. They go higher than 20 if it's particularly like if it's a footed base or a ruffle, one of the flared or ruffled tops. This seems pretty simple to me, so I'm going to say this is probably going to fall more in the $10 range, maybe up to. I'll probably sell it in if there's any on Etsy, I'll probably sell it in the live sale just so I'm not competing with the 20 different versions on Etsy. But there were a ton of these sold in 2020. So it's one of those cases, if I feel like I can get a little bit more for it, I might post it on Etsy. Otherwise, it may just end up in a live sale, and I just aim for the $10 range and make sure I sell it. Another item that I picked up, and this is one of those cases that I'm not really sure why, but it was a quarter. It's just a lady's handkerchief. There's no label or anything on it. There's no marking, but there's also, it's in great condition. There's no holes. There's not really any fraying to be made for. I might be moving into another antique mall much closer to my house. We'll see, but I'm thinking like this might be something good there. I want to have some variety if I move into that mall based on what's already there. And I just thought for 25 cents, again, it's not a lot of risk. And I really like the design, and that it's a I don't know how well it's coming. It's a chocolate brown, but then you can kind of see like it's an Asian design. It's like Mount Fuji at the top of it. There's kind of like a turquoise blue. There's a turquoise blue in the pagoda up in the corner. You know, so there's the bird down in the corner is also kind of an aqua or turquoise. I just thought it was a really pretty color combination, probably 60s based on that turquoise, but you know, I'm not 100% sure. But again, for a quarter, hey, I'm set. All right, this piece was fun to find. It is a piece of Moravian pottery from Doylestown, Pennsylvania. Moravian's been around forever. It's definitely 19th century. This right on the back, whoever had bought this, whoever collected it, taped the little story of Moravian Pottery Works right on the back. What they taped over, though, was the year. And it says right on the little message that it's all of these are reproductions of their 19th century designs, and all of the reproductions are dated. So there's never a question. There's never any confusion on what type of that you're getting a reproduction versus a new one. So I thought that was pretty cool. I also thought it was kind of funny because they taped this on the back, but you can see there's like this rear piece of green felt. Well, they had to do that because the tile itself has a hole in it. So if they had just taped a piece of paper over it, you're seeing the big white hole. So they like put this little green piece of felt so it looked like a tree back there. But in fact, the tile is supposed to be open. It says Avalon on it. I haven't researched the meaning of Avalon. So if anyone happens to know, like to me, that kind of looked like a Venetian, village. So I don't know if that's a connection to that. There have been some of these that have sold in 2020. And one of them sold by itself for $10. And then more recently it sold as part of a set of 3 for $25. I paid $1. So for $1, I'm in this probably about, I would probably think 10. It is just a standalone tile, but it's a very cool tile. It's dated 1986. Days of reproduction, but it's in perfect condition. And it's these types of tiles. And Moravian is a really good name if you're not familiar with pottery. I knew the name, but I've never had a piece of Moravian. So it's entirely possible that might also stay in my own collection, but more likely that design aesthetic doesn't really fit with the rest of what I've got. So it'll probably end up either online or in one of my live sales. All right, this piece was fun, but then became somewhat of a disappointment because I realized it's incomplete. It is a Kemble glass candy dish, and I should have recognized this when I bought it, but it's missing a piece. And you can see here, there's a rim here, which is where a lid is supposed to fit. And the lid would fit on here, and the lid would also this is considered the dolphin candy dish. And then the lid has a little 3-dimensional fish that sits on. To be perfectly honest, it looks weird. It literally a dolphin with a fish sitting horizontally across his mouth. Like, no, don't take me in. So I'm not sure why that was ever a good design. I bought it. It was actually displayed like this. So, which I thought like it's like a cornucopia style, whatever. But then every picture I found later, because they all had the lid, it showed like this. I only paid $1.50 for it. They have sold online for $18 to $25, but with the lid. So I'm probably going to get more close to the $10 to $12 range without the lid. But I agree with you, Gene. I love it. This is it's a very cool, dolphins, amber glass. This is another case. I wasn't familiar with the Kemble name until I researched it, but you can see there's a fairly significant ridge line from where this was molded. But if you polished it down, you'd ruin his scales. So, you kind of have to you have to kind of decide what you're going to keep and what you're going to get rid of. But anyway, for $1.50, again, this is going to turn around easily to a $10, $12, whether I do it online or if I do it through a live sale. It is a cool looking item. It is the dolphin theme, which thanks to Tim, if he's still on, my daughter finally showed me. I haven't seen my daughter since Father's Day. And she got me from Tim. She bought a dolphin candlestick in uranium glass. So it's kind of the same dolphin, but this is amber. So this will not be staying in my collection. It will be going online. Also got some pottery pieces. This one I've yet to research. I ended up paying $3 for it, which is probably like one of the most expensive things I bought from this shop. Everything was so cheap, but it's in perfect condition. I thought it was interesting that it's kind of a weed vase style, but it's attached to this underplate, and I'm not really sure the purpose of that. But it's got the very narrow opening, and then it's got this drain plate, whatever. It is signed, but unfortunately, I do not recognize the signature. So if anyone recognizes that, I would definitely appreciate the items, the information. Oh yeah, Tim, you didn't know which one was her? Yep, she bought the uranium glass dolphin candlestick. And like I said, she bought it for me specifically for our deep dive. Well, not specifically, it was a Father's Day gift, but she bought it in uranium specifically so you and I would have it for our deep dive. And then I haven't seen her since Father's Day, so I don't have it for our interview tonight. So, oh well. But it is the dolphin candlestick. Anyway, so this it's an attractive design. I'm not 100% sure on its age because this could be a modern piece. To me, it looked like a pretty high quality studio made piece. Again, for $3, I can probably turn this around to like 12 to 15, maybe online, but probably in a live sale. This one, gotta love Etsy, or gotta love eBay. This one I had to Google because I'm like, okay, this seems like it should be something. Oh, Karen's saying that this is an incense burner. Oh, okay. So then this would be to hold. Oh, so if you did one of those really long pieces of incense, and then this would be to hold the flakes when it came off. Oh, okay. So, all right, that's interesting. I never would have thought of that. All right, excellent. Now, good to make. And Katie's making the pun. That makes sense. All right. This is a piece of. It is marked Mohawk, which was a name I was not familiar with. But with the shape of it, it has this very specific rim on it that I would have thought would be difficult to drink from. So I'm like, you know what? I think this is something special. And they had the brush in here. The brush also is marked Mohawk. So it's kind of like, all right, this is something shaving. So I went on to Worth Point and eBay to figure out some history, found this exact piece. The mug itself is selling for $10 pretty regularly. And then if you add the brush, which is the Mohawk brush that does go along with it, it jumps the price to about $20. And those are sale points from 2020. So it's in great condition, and I don't know if you can see it really well. It's like got kind of this weird little drawing of a lion on both the front and the back. So whether you're right-handed or left-handed, when you're doing your shaving brush with your shaving cream, you can look at the little lion. Oh, that was cool. And I paid $1.50 for it. So again, pretty easy way. It's got some active sales, so I should be able to turn that around. Most likely that will go on to Etsy, but I might put it on live sale. We'll see. I got so many things going to the live sales. I've got to start putting things on Etsy. Hey, Deanna. Oh, and Jackie. Sorry, I was missing people as they were coming in. Jackie is in bed in England. All right. I'm sorry. Like right now, I'm like, okay, thank you for sharing that. But no, she's saying that when I do my live auction, she's asleep in England. So, all right. Well, glad you caught this. This was kind of a spur of the moment thing. So I'm glad so many people are joining. This was a piece that, again, I just really like the looks of it. It's not a coaster, but reminded me of a coaster, so I had to pick it up. It's a piece of Redware, and in the shop, I was struggling to read this, so I couldn't really research it until I got home. It's got the little religious fish on the front of it, which almost made me put it down, but whatever. It is etched, and when I came home, I discovered what it says is Earthen Vessel Sin OH. It turns out Earthen Vessel is the name of a company, is Earthen Vessel Pottery Company based in Cincinnati, Ohio. I knew what the sin was. And it also has a copyright of 1990. So I knew this wasn't particularly old. Even looking at it, I knew it wasn't particularly old. But the fact that it was all labeled and nice like that, it does have a signature, and I've yet to figure out the signature. But I did find the company, and that signature is on most of the pieces of this company. This particular design I can't find. There's been 2 of these exact size plates, style of plates, well, size and shape, that have sold within this year. The first one, one sold for 10 and one sold for 25. So what I haven't figured out is which are the more desirable patterns. And I can't find this pattern on anything. I can't find any plate that they've sold even longer. WorthPoint goes back like 10 years. I haven't found this anywhere on WorthPoint, and I haven't found any other pieces like they do mugs and stuff like that. To me, these are like wildflowers. I mean, that could be a sunflower, but it could be, I think it's a sunflower, but it could be a daisy. They've had some other sunflower pieces, but nothing like this. So I'm not saying it's scarce or anything. They just have a couple of different designs, and this one I haven't particularly found. But if they're all selling to the $10 to $25 range, I paid $2 for it. So I would have expected, even before I did the research, to sell it in the $10 to $15 range. So I was pretty happy seeing those specs and looking good. All right, the last thing I'm going to show you from that sale is something that, to a certain extent, it's called kind of like the hat. I can't believe I bought it. But then I realized I was Googling, or I was WorthPointing in the store. Initially, I bought a set of 6 of these melamine plates. They are from McDonald's, and they are the Hercules plates. So technically, they're vintage because they're 1997. They were 25 cents a piece, and they had a stack of them. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to go through. I'm going to buy one set. I am starting to list some things on eBay that are. I'm going to try and fine tune my Etsy store to be more in line with the aesthetic of my Etsy store, and then eBay will kind of be everything else. And so this was something like, you know what? I'll sell these on eBay. So then I'm in the store, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to look to see what these sell for. Because like I said, there was a stack of these, but they only had one set of 6. Everything else was like random pieces of some of the other plates, but you didn't have enough other pieces to make a set of 6. So I decided to Google these. So glad I did. This exact set of 6, one of each design, I'll show you those in a second, one of each design, set of 6, have sold 3 times in the last 3 months for over $75 each time. $75. I have $1.50 into this. People, you are absolutely right, Katie. People love Disney. I will say I picked these up. I knew I was going to sell them, but I was going to own them for a little bit. Hercules is my favorite Disney movie by far. The sarcasm, Hades is probably my favorite character of every Disney villain ever. Wait, is my hair out? I love Hercules. So these were just going to be fun to own for a little bit and then pass them on. But good Lord, $75 for a set of 6. I rushed to pick up the rest of the stack. Unfortunately, this is the one that appears to be the most valuable. And this was the limiting denominator, that they only had one of the Muse plates. So I'm not sure why this one is necessarily, if it was not produced as often, or maybe it wasn't as popular. I don't know. But this plate itself sells for between $25 and $35 alone. So when you buy it as a set of 6, you're getting a deal. So unfortunately, I only had one of these, but I have the set of, so this one is the only one that comes in the set of 6. Then I've got a set of 5, which include Phil, Zeus, Meg, Pegasus, and of course, Hercules himself. So the set of 5 is regularly selling without the Muses. The Muses always is the wild card, but for the ones that have been selling as a set of 5, these have been selling for around $50. So you're looking at, in general, $10 a plate for all of these. One of the Meg plates sold for $25 by herself. So I have a set of 6, I have another set of 5, I have another set of 4, and then I have 3 random plates. I have 2 Zeus and a Meg. So I've got, like I said, one of the Megs, those were selling in the $15 to $25 range. One of the Megs plates sold for $25. This is selling prices, not listing prices. There's a set on eBay right now listed for the set of 6 for $150. What I have to figure out, and if anybody has any input, particularly Tim, I don't know if you do a lot of auctions. This to me seems to be something that will work well in an auction. What I don't know the best way to do it, since I have a set of 6, a set of 5, and a set of 4, which one do I list first? And right now there are 2 auctions going on right now. Both of them have pushed the prices up to about $40, but there's still like 3 to 6. One has 3 days left, one has 6 days left. So there's 2 auctions competing for the same set of plates. And I'm not sure if I should wait until those end. I'm thinking I should, but I don't know if they'll ever end. Like, do these like rotate in all the time? And should I start with a set of 4 and work my way up, or do I start with a set of 6, get the big money for that, and then work my way down? So if anybody has any input on that, I'd appreciate it. So not something I thought I was going out looking for, but I've got a Hercules set of plates and I'm kind of excited about it. All right. So I went to the garage sale, went to this was all the stuff, including the Hercules. That was all from Mina's Mercantile. Then across the street from Mina's Mercantile, oh, I feel bad. I don't have the receipt near me and I can't think of the name of the store. Oh, I'm sorry. It's one, like 2 blocks south of Mina's Mercantile on the west side of the street. Anyway, it was a small-ish antique mall. It probably only had like maybe 20 or 25 booths. And so I only ended up finding a lot of the prices were antique mall prices. And, you know, even in a small town, antique mall prices are probably a little too high for me to pick something up for resale. I primarily go to antique malls like that to find things for myself. Unfortunately, I didn't find anything for myself. Even the stuff that I would have bought for myself, I thought was too expensive. But I did find a booth that had 50% off, you know. So, you know, not I've also been to booths, antique malls where the shops are 50% off. And what they did was they marked their prices up 4 times. And then they like, oh, but you get half price. And people think it's a great deal. I'm like, you're at half price. That's more than I would sell it for. So whatever. This one I think was legitimate. I think these were prices that I have a feeling they'd been there for a while. And I think they might have been closing because it was thinning out. So these were the items that they had left over. So one of them, admittedly, I need to do some more research on it. I thought this was older than when I showed it to Jeffrey and to George yesterday. They think this is probably 50s. I thought maybe it was going to the 30s to 40s. I need to look up that cartoon character if anybody recognizes her. Because that might help me. It won't be any, well, it can't be any earlier than what she is. So it's one of those, that's not technically true. You could have had the frame and then put it in there. Anyway, I'd like to date the little comic strip because the comic strip doesn't make any sense. They're just pictures from all I can tell. Hey, Thrift You, I'm in Paducah. I'm going to be meeting up with Fatbird Finds and with Antique Nomad and Real Nifty Vintage and Thrifter Junker Vintage Hunter. Ooh, twice in one show. I got it right. Going to meet them for breakfast in 45 minutes. So I need to shut up pretty soon. Anyway, it's got a patent applied for on the back. So I want to do a little bit more research just to pin it down. This ended up being $4. So it may not be worth much more than $4. So this will be sold in a live sale. And unfortunately, there was damage to it when I bought it. This was coming off. And then at one point when I went to put it between some books to protect it, I ripped it the rest of the way off. Yes, I do that. So that was my mistake. Anyway, it's still attached by a thread at the bottom. Yeah, so you're gonna have to prop it up as an easel. It is still very cool, and it's in actually perfect condition. That's why I bought it. There's nothing chipped. There's no cracks. Even if it's just generic plastic, it's in a good condition. So for $4, I'm not gonna make a lot of money on it, but I thought it was kind of cool, and I wanted to pass it on. And then the last thing I got there, and it's the last thing I'll show for this little haul, so I can finish getting ready. I had a guess of what these were, and I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna ask you guys if you know what these are. So they are these little metal pieces. They have holes on both sides. You can see they're curved. These all happen to have a German theme. Okay, so Ricky thinks the frame is the money. So, all right, well, I think Hercules is the money, but maybe the frame will give me a nice run. So like I said, I didn't get a chance to research that one. I was running late this morning to start this live haul, and I needed to make sure I've got time. So all of these little badges. Okay, so Tina thinks that might be little Lulu, and that actually rings a bell. When I saw the picture, I'm like, I recognize that girl, but I have no idea who she is. I was thinking Mary Jane, but I think that's a type of shoe. And then, so Ricky's clarifying that the frame is more money than the comic strip. Yeah, I'm not even sure if the comic strip's a real piece. It may just be a Xerox for all I know. And Cindy Warman is absolutely correct. Oh, and Julie got it right too. So I apologize. I didn't even caught it before. Oh, wait. Karen Radford though is what I thought they were. So Karen Radford was one of the earlier names that said this. I apologize that this chat is scrolling too fast. So there are these little holes on the side. They're curved. I thought they were bike badges. I'm right with you, Karen. I thought they were bike badges until, let's see if I can find it. I found this one. They were all in a little bag. They were all sold together. This one had this little tape thing on the back. Those are nails. So all of a sudden I'm like, well, you can't nail into the front of a bike. I mean, I think these would go on the front of a bike, but you'd have to screw them in. So these are nails. And so the minute I saw the nails, I discovered, and that's what other people have now said, they're actually for walking sticks. This is a thing. So you would go, and I talked to George, he clarified that that's what they're for. They're for canes, they're for walking sticks, that you would go on these wanderlust tours and you would go to these different places with your walking stick. And this was kind of like, this is what you would get to show that you had been there. All right. Like vaguely, I knew these were a thing. Like I said, when I saw them, I thought they went onto a bicycle. And so I'm like, yeah, I think they're like a badge. Like I didn't know, but this entire pile was $1. So I'm like, okay, I'll spend $1 on just about anything. If I don't know what it is and know that it's not worth $1, I'll give it a try, which is why my storage is overflowing. But I ended up going online this morning, actually prepping for this live haul just to see, you know what, I want to try and figure out what these are worth. I can't find all the patterns that I have. So I have no idea how many of these are made, but over 40 of these have sold in the year 2020. Every single one of them has sold for $11.95. It's like someone wrote a price guide and said, these puppies are $11.95. Do not stray. So I am not going to stray from this. I will put them on eBay along with all the others that are there for $11.95 and just laugh all my way to the bank, because Hercules will still make me more money. But that means I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have over $50 worth of these badges that I paid $1 for. Now, the one I want to look a little bit further, the ones that were selling for $11.95 all looked like this. They were all the same design, same aesthetic, the same shield shape. They always had the name of the town was in a banner. Like they were different towns, but they all were clearly made at the same time by the same people with the same design. This one is upside down. This one is a little bit different. I don't know if we're going to show you to see it. It is the Oberammergau Hotel. So this is no longer promoting the town. It's promoting the hotel. And you can see it's it's done in relief. It's colored a little bit differently. It's got the blue wash for the sky. This is, to me, the prettiest one in it. And I think it might be older, but I could be wrong. It's just very much a different style than these. And this one I wasn't seeing as I scrolled through the walking stick. So I need to figure out if this would be considered something different or called something differently. I'd be perfectly happy if this sold for $11.95. And Ricky, you've got exactly what my question is. I don't know how old these are either. I think they're probably from the 60s and the 70s, just based on the material that they're made out of. They're super lightweight. And I just don't see that that's something people would do anymore. So I would definitely call it vintage, but when I was looking at them, they all just called them walking stick or cane badges. And so I'm not 100% sure the era. I will have to look at, ask George again, see if he gives me an error. I didn't think to ask that. And yes, this one in particular, it does. It looks like it's been enameled. It's very coolly done. And all of these they're screen printed. So it's just, if I were to pull out a loop, you'd see, the dots. Like they're not necessarily wherever high-end items. They're souvenir pieces. But if anyone has watched my channels before, I'm very big. This family is very big into doing German and all things Germany, all things Austria. So these were just kind of cool. I'm trying to think, like Kloster I've not been to. Rothenburg, I've not been to. Würzburg, I've not been to, and Grafenwöhr, I've not been to. So, okay, I'm not sure if my daughter's been any of those places since she lived there for a while. But anyway, again, a great piece. I'm afraid the walking stick mafia might come after me if I try to sell them for less than $11.95, but I would be perfectly happy getting $5 a piece for these. I only paid $1 for the entire set. But if they're going for $11.75, $11.95, whatever, $11.95, I'll take $11.95. All right. So let's see if we got anybody. So Kim from My Vintage. Sorry if I didn't say hi to you earlier. Scrolling through Thrift You. I threw out Thrift You. Okay, Thrift You. You can't be uneducated. You're Thrift University. You have to educate the rest of us. Oh, Lesta. Hey, Lesta. Sorry I missed you when you jumped in. When I don't have my little huckster helper telling me when people jump in, I have to kind of watch. Laura Bemos. I think I said hi to Laura. And I mentioned Tim will be in my deep dive tonight. Laura Bemos is actually going to do a deep dive at the end of July. So we will be promoting that later. So you guys have had a lot of Laura in the chat. You'll get to ask her questions live on air. I'm a little nervous, to be perfectly honest, but we're going to have a lot of fun. Hey, Cindy Warman. I think I said hi to Tina. Nicole. Hey, Nicole. And Nicole got the walking sticks right. Chalk Couture, Karen Pangborn, independent designer P. Okay, that's a new, very long name. I haven't seen you before, so hello. The name was in there somewhere. Karen. Hi, Karen. And she said that is not Little Lulu. So she says she's got Little Lulu videos, so it's not Little Lulu. And okay, Rachel's taking lessons from Laura because I said Mary Jane out loud. I'm not monetized yet, so I can't be demonetized. So, oh, I like the idea of using them, Karen, for beer tap labels. That'd been fun. All right. Anyway, I got to start wrapping up because I've got to meet everyone for breakfast. Okay, I'm shocked and a little bit humbled that so many people decided to join a live show that you had no idea what I was going to be talking about and was not announced. So I'll probably do another one of these, maybe tonight after the deep dive, maybe tomorrow morning, to cover some of the other things as a live. I should do it as a live haul, but I'll probably do the stuff I got from George's yesterday. That one I want to do properly. I want to be able to set that out, maybe do some edits and be able to really highlight everything, because I really did not plan on getting a lot from George's, because George is a reseller himself. So, for me, I usually go for low end things that I can flip around. If I make 10 or 20 bucks off something, I can be thrilled. He has some higher end items. There were so many great things in there that I was buying stuff I'd never even seen before just because I wanted to say I bought it from George. So I'm probably going to get myself into trouble, but I spent a lot of money there yesterday. So we'll see how much I end up spending today as we go out as a group. But I might do another live haul. Maybe I'll do his as a live haul too. I don't know. Maybe I'll get him to join me. Maybe we could do a joint live haul and he could walk through everything with me. I don't know. But regardless, thank you all for joining me. Watch, I'm sure Real Nifty Vintage was videotaping yesterday. Misty was videotaping yesterday. So Thrifter, Junker, Vintage Hunter, 3 for 3. And then also Fatbird Finds was doing some video yesterday. Because George was running the sale, he really didn't do any video at the sale. I also didn't do any video at the sale. If you want to chuckle, if you don't follow me on Instagram, jump onto my Instagram page just to see. I think it was probably my most recent post, or maybe 2 posts ago. I literally posted the first time I tried to do a shop with me video. I'd never do those. I have never done those because I know I'm going to break things. I came really close, but you'll be able to see the first video. I'll just go ahead and spoil it. You don't have to go see it. The entire first video is filmed upside down because as I was using my camera, that's all I've got to do. As I was using my camera to look down at a table, my camera decided that I was suddenly upside down. So it flipped itself and I didn't realize it for the first minute and a half or whatever. So I'm filming this table and I'm trying to pick something up. And it was as I was picking it up to figure out if I could see it through the view finder, or if look at the bottom, I look at my view, I'm like, it's upside down. So that's my experience with live videos. But anyway, we'll see what we do. So George did not have any live video during the sale, but we did all go to another antique store at the end of the day. And I think I saw him videotaping there. So there should be a couple videos floating out that usually I'll just be ghosting in the background because I'm just in the room. But I'm sure they all put out such great content. I'm humbled by all of them. I'm the smallest channel of this entire group. I do not feel worthy of being in their same air. But I'm having a blast and so glad that they're welcoming me into the fold. And I'm going to have breakfast at Bob Evans, which Can't remember the last time I ever said that sentence. I may never have said that sentence, but hey, I'll go to Bob Evans. I'm in Kentucky, if that's the thing. So I'm going to breakfast at Bob Evans with George, Misty, Jeffrey, Laura, and Mary Beth. And so I'm really glad you guys all joined me on this. Hope you have a good Sunday. Enjoy. Maybe you guys can go out and find some great stuff. And for those of you who do your own video content, push it out there. And if not, definitely watch what all the rest of us are doing. We appreciate. If you've gotten this far and you've been watching, you're not well, you must be a subscriber. You wouldn't have known I was here. But if you could put a thumbs up on the video, I'd appreciate it. That kind of helps. And if you're available tonight, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern, Tim from Over the Years will be in my vintage deep dive on uranium glass. So that'll have the live chat going. So you'll be able to ask him questions. And it'll just be like the one I did with George on cameras, the one I did with Katie on typewriter ribbon tins, and the one I did with Vinny on Coca-Cola trays. And all three of the previous ones are available on my channel under my playlist of deep dives. So you kind of know, if you've never seen one, how they work. So anyway, thanks everybody. Thanks for putting the time in and giving me your time and putting your trust in a trusty huckster. Have a good day. Bye.